In today's video, I'm going to share with you my latest comic haul, including my first purchase and first time shopping with mycomicshop.com. Let's go! What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is John and you're watching Old Stuff is Cool. So we've got another comic haul for you today, and this is a bundle of a couple of different purchases, one in person and then a handful of online purchases. Now, a big overarching theme for today's show is the completion of a few different runs I've been working on. You know, since the beginning of the new year, I've been sharing with you guys how I'm trying to streamline things, whether it's cutting back on new comic book day purchases, and even focusing a bit on what series I'm collecting. I think sometimes being split in so many different ways and so many different interests, it's hard to keep focus on maybe some of the bigger, more milestone comics that I want to save up for. So when the opportunity came to kind of just finish out these series, whether I came across them in person, they might not have been like the absolute ideal price, but they were still reasonable, I jumped on that chance. So my first comic haul of the video is going to be an in-person purchase, and this was from the oldest, or at the very least one of the oldest comic book stores in the Boston area, and that is Million Year Picnic over in Cambridge in Harvard Square. This is just a small purchase of 3 books. I'll pop in the store periodically because it's nearby. Sometimes I'll be in the area to run some errands, or even just it's a nice place to walk around with the family. So we got 3 books here. First one is a bit of a run filler, and that is Daredevil 223. I got a nice newsstand edition. And while there's just a little bit of wear to it, Daredevil for $1 is really hard for me to pass on. Also, besides being a newsstand, this is also a crossover with the Secret Wars 2, which is not as good as Secret Wars 1, but hey, it kind of spilled over into all the books at the time. The second book I got was Captain America 275, and this one actually also is a newsstand edition. I'm still collecting Captain America books, especially ones that feature stellar art by Mike Zeck. This one also is a key issue in that it's the very first appearance of Baron Zemo 2. The MCU version of Baron Zemo is a sympathetic figure, sympathetic villain, I guess at most. He actually had, a meme that was quite popular when Winter Soldier and Falcon were on. Very different from the comic book iteration, which is obviously the source material. But that Baron Zemo was hell-bent on getting revenge on Captain America, who he blames the loss of his father, the original Baron Zemo, on. Also, Baron Zemo in the comics is a Nazi, so much less sympathetic. Although he does have a bit of turnaround over time into the 90s Thunderbolt story, but that's a whole other video probably. And then the third and final book from this purchase is Wolverine, issue number 84. This has a great cover by Adam Kubert, and this completes my little mini goal of getting Wolverine, his first ongoing series, issues 1 through 100. I was just missing 84. So, I got all these 3 books for a whopping $10. I'm always happy to support local stores. I think the prices were reasonable with all 3 books. And of course, the sense of completion with finishing up this Wolverine run. I understand it's not a complete run. That is something I might want to work on, or I can add on to, especially if we're talking about like dollar books. I will happily add more Wolverine through the dollar books. Although I think part of the reason I used issue 100 as a cutoff point is that is the point where we get the Savage Noseless Wolverine, who I absolutely... hated might be a strong word, but I really don't care for that version of the character. Luckily, it didn't last too long. Larry Hama would come onto the book and have a stellar run. The Kuberts and other artists would also, be often on the book as well. So I can probably be pretty easily convinced to finish out this run at some point, but I want to close, the book on that run for the time being, and again to have more focus on other things I'm trying to go after. Next up, we have a purchase from Whatnot, and that's from my good buddy Space Ferret, who I got to talk about at length in a recent video, which I'll make sure to link at the bottom, who sent me my very first AOK. We both have a love of Moon Knight, and he had an all Moon Knight show, and I was happy to make a purchase and help support him in his own comic collecting endeavors by buying a few books off of him. So first one we have here, and we're gonna go from newest to oldest Moon Knight. We've got Moon Knight issue number 19. This is a great homage to Moon Knight number 1, volume 1. This one is courtesy of David Nakayama, who I quite enjoy. And of course, an homage cover to an already great cover, featuring some of the supporting cast of this volume. Just stellar, just stellar. Spacefarer was also nice enough to include some freebies in this purchase, including Moon Knight issue number 2, and this is from volume 7, back in 2014, the Warren Ellis run. Funny enough, he only had a 6-issue, very enjoyable arc here on Moon Knight, which I used to own. I actually have the the digital copy still of each issue. I actually had issue number 1 as well, so yeah, maybe if we come across issues 3 through 6, I'll pick those up. They had a bit of a spike when the Moon Knight series on Disney Plus was about to come out, and that whole speculation era. But we're gone past that. I think only the hardcore Moon Knight fans are still around and collecting those books, and I happen to be one of those people. Moving on, we've got Mark Spector Moon Knight issue number 39. This is a series from the 90s, and I believe this is the second part to a story that features Dr. Doom. And you can see Doom is all, his face at least, is all in the background there. Maybe some Doombots or something else. Very cool cover. Also from the same volume, we have Mark Spector Moon Knight issue 52. And this was just I think, actually there's 2 books here. I think these are also ones that Spacefarer threw in as freebies. So awesome playing card motif. Got Gambit, of course. That's issue 52. And on the back, we've got a well-loved but still awesome looking issue number 25, featuring the first meeting between Ghost Rider and Moon Knight. Then we have a few books from Moon Knight Volume 1. I am almost nearly done collecting that whole volume. So we've got issue number 10 first, and that is a cover by Bill Sienkiewicz. Then we have issue number 12. This features the first appearance of Morpheus, and no, it is not, Morpheus / Dream / Sandman. It is not Morpheus from the Matrix series. I honestly don't know if this Morpheus ever appeared again after here, but cool cover nonetheless. It also is a cover by Frank Miller. Speaking of Frank Miller, got another cover he did. Actually, this one is very, very nice. Moon Knight number 15. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This might be my favorite cover from this little bundle of books. And then, last but not least, and I think this is a cover that actually Spacefarer really digs. You got issue 34. Also a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Features a story called Primal Scream. Perhaps a bit of a nod to the famous painting. But yeah, we're getting very close. I think I only have like 2 or 3 issues left of Moon Knight Volume 1. And then that'll be complete as well. Whether you're a Moon Knight fan or not, hopefully just showing you the covers, you can see the artistic appeal of this series. But I love that crazy character. And altogether, this bundle of Moon Knight books came out to $30 shipped. This next set of books comes from Whatnot seller Omegabot Comics, who is new to me. This is my first purchase with them. And I have to say, there was a customer service issue, or there's an issue with one of the books, and the customer service that he displayed is just excellent. So I'll get more into what the issue was with the last book of this set, and it'll make more sense. But the first comic I like to spotlight is Spectacular Spider-Man, issue number 225. I've been enjoying getting kind of issues, not a full run or anything like that, but just interesting covers, interesting storylines from this title, which I was pretty unfamiliar with until recently. But this is a key issue in that it features the first appearance of Ben Urich as Green Goblin, and this is the heroic Green Goblin of the 90s, maybe early 2000s. It also is a shiny foil cover. Or foil? It's a shiny hologram, not foil, but there's a little energy ball. 90s gimmicky goodness. So got a gimmick cover, got a first appearance, had to snag this one. Then I got a few New Mutants books, and again, it's kind of it was the right price, but also there's some great covers, namely Barry Windsor Smith with New Mutants issue number 40. We have Cap, Duking It Out with Magneto, and this is a newsstand version. Also another cover by Barry Windsor Smith, issue 46. I forgot to mention Barry Windsor Smith. I mean, I most notably connect with the Wolverine Weapon X storyline, but I think that Weapon X run from Marvel Comics Presents really is some of my favorite work from him. So, issue 46, we got some more of the team members, actually also some members of the X-Men. So you gotta love it when Barry Windsor Smith draws some X-Men. And then kind of more filler here, issue 76. We got Namor the Submariner here. Underwater goodness. One last New Mutants book here is New Mutants Special Edition #1. This one is an interesting one. It connects with the X-Men Alpha Flight crossover, which brings all those characters into Asgard. Mirage would become a Valkyrie, and this is the first appearance of her flying horse, Brightwind. Kind of sticking with the mutant theme, this is the last issue that I was on the hunt for the adjectiveless X-Men series, X-Men 65, featuring the first cameo appearance of Cecilia Reyes, who would later become a member. This is also the debut of the Prime Sentinels, who were kind of these sleeper agent Sentinels, which could be activated by Bastion, and unfortunately attack mutants and the X-Men. So I'm glad to also, how we finished Wolverine. I got to finish this little run of books I was going after for X-Men, and I can kind of put that to rest. Maybe I'll go back and collect more issues, but I was interested in getting this one in particular, getting some of the covers by Carlos Pacheco, but now it'll give me some time to do some catch up, to read some of those issues now that, I have a, I was going to say complete run, but I have a sequential run of those guys. But I can't forget my customer service story, and the last book I picked up here is Avengers West Coast issue number 94. I have a very soft spot for Rhodey, War Machine. I'm not sure why that is, but a lot of the Iron Man books I got like last year and the year before were like Rhodey appearances. The armor is kind of what you get when you cross the color scheme of the Punisher with Tony's armor and add a bunch of additional weapons. It's always been a cool design. I kind of like the two-man combo of Iron Man and War Machine as well. Unfortunately, an issue came up when I opened up the book from the bag just to rebag and board, which I typically do. I found that the cover was partially detached from the top staple. The good news is that I got in contact with Omegabot Comics, and without skipping a beat, first he was very responsive. Second, he says go ahead and ask for a refund on the whole purchase. And I just mentioned the issue and just wanted to go back and forth a little bit, so I hadn't even asked for a refund, or I was thinking maybe just a partial refund, because he bundled the books together and said just pay for Avengers West Coast and we'll take care of the rest. But really, I think I've been so lucky with just purchasing from solid people, and it might be something about the format where if you sit on for a show for about half an hour, you get a little bit of the personality. I'm not drawn to the super loud shouters or the shouting style that a lot of Whatnot sellers do. The more chill, laid back ones, sometimes maybe a little bit disorganized, but like they're fellow collectors, you get that vibe, and generally like good people. Those are generally more the personalities that I'm drawn to, at least on that platform, and I think I've been very lucky whenever I had any issues with a purchase. So normally this stack of books would have been, I think, like $15 or $16 shipped, which was already a good price, but given the issue, was issued a full refund. So I've definitely, followed this seller. I'm going to bookmark any shows, and I'm very happy to support them whenever they have a book that I might be interested in. So yeah, great stack of books here. Now the question is, am I happy with this copy of Avengers West Coast 94? It presents very well. Again, you wouldn't know that has that detached staple. And it's not a super expensive book, so maybe if I come across it on a discounted price, maybe I'll upgrade the book then. But as of now, it's like a souvenir of a very pleasant exchange with this seller. All right, and now the last set of books for this haul. It's my very first purchase with mycomicshop.com. And I've known about this site for a while. I've browsed it. It's a little, I don't know, I found it a little tricky to browse. It does look like a website layout from, I don't know, like 5-10 years ago. The thing is that they have a very good stock. I've always heard great things about them from both friends online as well as even folks in my LCS. My quick synopsis of it is, if you're looking for a key issue that you might also hunt on eBay or elsewhere, I mean, you're going to typically find market price. But the good thing is that I think people generally agree that my comic shop tends to undergrade books. So if you're getting a fine, you're probably going to get something a little bit better. And so that the whole condition thing, I mean, that's a big crapshoot when you're buying from either a new seller or eBay. You do the best you can with the photos they provide and kind of keep your fingers crossed, say a prayer, and hope for the best when it comes in. So recently, when I decided to browse the site again, I decided to look for books that would help me complete a few runs that's so close to finishing, and that's what ultimately made me pull the trigger this time around. So first is a book I bought by mistake, and that is Galactic Guardians, issue number 4. This is a book that was in my cart from however many months ago. I had not purchased it yet. I did wind up finding this at a convention, I think at WickedCon last year, but I guess that's how long I've been thinking about a purchase and just left it in there. So I didn't realize it was still in the cart after over a year, and so it made its way into this shipment. So now I have a duplicate. I don't know if you're missing this issue because you're a fellow fan of the 90s Galactic Guardians or Guardians of the Galaxy. Let me know. I've got an extra now. Then we move over to Astonishing X-Men, the original run from Joss Whedon and John Cassaday. Towards the end of their run, they had a number of variant covers, which were usually, I think, just like 2 colors, have a duotone thing going on, featuring various members of the team. And I was missing just one. And issue 20 here, it's the Beast with a more cat-like appearance during this time. So there's some other great covers like Cyclops, Wolverine. So some very, very fun covers. They really pop. So happy to finish my little variant set from that. And because I had variants, I kind of just grabbed whatever was available to me at the time. And I guess with issue 21, I'd gotten the variant and needed the original one because the significance of this is it's the first cover appearance of Armor, Hisako. And she had the spotlight on her when the current or the recently wrapped up Ultimate X-Men series had launched. Also just a really cool character. Her mutant ability creates this awesome kind of translucent red armor around her. Visually appealing, a great character overall. So I wanted to nab her first cover appearance. I was very happy to find this one, Fantastic Four issue 353. I do have to mention that for all these books I mentioned so far, they were all like just under $3, so nothing crazy. This one used to command a much higher price because it features the first appearance of Mobius M. Mobius, portrayed by the hilarious Owen Wilson. Mobius M. Mobius is in the Time Variance Authority and played a role in the Loki TV series. Definitely one of the better Marvel TV series on Disney Plus. I greatly enjoyed it. This is also during Walter Simonson's run on the book and features a very solid cover as well. Now, finally, the last book that I wanted to share with you here is Marvel Presents issue number 3, featuring the Guardians of the Galaxy. This begins the tenure of the Guardians on this series. It would end with issue number 12, and it was the last issue I needed for the Guardians portion of the run. Features a great cover. It is dual credited. Both Al Milgrom and John Romita Sr. Are the ones credited for the cover, which I love. The original Guardians light up. So happy to pick up this issue to complete this run. There were a few chances I saw this in the wild, but I don't know, maybe because of just the age of this book. I believe this is I would say this is a Bronze Age book, kind of that squarish format to it. But all times I see this book for like $40 or $50. If you look at the fair market price in recent eBay sold, it is much lower than that. So this one is in fine condition. It came up as $14. That seemed very reasonable. And even if I kept hunting, I mean, I've seen people find Marvel Presents issues in the dollar bin or something maybe a little cheaper, but to be able to just kind of put this to rest and move on. That is something I've said a few times this video. So altogether, this order of books came to $34 shipped. Maybe like me, you're just missing 1 or 2 more issues to complete something. I think My Comic Shop is a great resource. Wouldn't hesitate to recommend it because everything was packaged super safely. The turnaround time and shipping too was very quick. So I'm very pleased. Very pleased with that first purchase. So those are all the comics in today's haul. Let me know if you had a favorite. Let me know if you have finished a series or a run of books yourself. I'd love to hear what you worked on. Do you have the euphoria of completing a series? Either way, I want to thank you guys for joining me for today's video, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care.